and I guess we're calling it lemon purloo these days. Just keep the kids guessing. They'll love that. Lemon rice sounds kind of basic, but like lemon purloo, oh shucks.
Like, I want to know more.
I want to know more.
That's what that tells me.
It sounds something.
Hey everyone, welcome to my home kitchen. This week's Genius recipe is for a very simple way to add lots of flavor to rice and a genius topping that you will want to put on so much more than that. The first thing we need to do, since this is lemon rice, is zest and juice some lemons. Whenever recipes call for the zest and juice of the lemons, a lot of times you use the juice first and then the zest, and I always forget to zest them first. And it is so much easier to zest lemons when they are whole and not halved and squeezed out. So this time, I'm not forgetting. This recipe calls for Meyer lemons, which are a sweet and very fragrant type of lemon, not super sour. And if you can't find them right now where you are, a really good substitute is to do like half lemon juice, half orange juice, or some other kind of sweet citrus like mandarin or tangerine or something like that will work just fine. I've tried this with all straight up regular Eureka lemon, and it's good, but it is a lot sharper. So you could also just do some regular lemon, but dial it back a little bit. Okay, I've got all my zest. Now I'm gonna do my juicing thing. Okay. All of my lemons are zested and juiced, and it's a perfect time to go check in with Michael to hear more about this recipe.
I wanted there to be a lot of lemon elements, lemon zest, Meyer lemon juice. This is, and of course, I asked the person doing the rice recipe to rely on the vegetable or chicken stock, which have some spice elements that pair well with different parts of the lemon flavors. So this is really just about making sure that the rice absorbs as much of that broth and as much of those flavors as possible, so that we can get to the table and it can be the perfect side dish or pairing for something like fish or chicken or roasted vegetables or whatever you want. But I was also in a place where, I might have two dimes to rub together and figure out how to make this extraordinary food with very little money. And also, I think at the time I wrote this, I was probably growing that lemon thyme and lemon basil. So it was also about using the elements of things that I had, that I had invested the time and resources into, but now I had to turn them into something I could build a food pantry off of,
Mm-hmm. As Michael says in rice, it's really important to him that the grains of rice be really distinct and not stick together, not be too gummy, and for them to be kind of al dente. So washing the rice is a really important part of that. It's rinsing away all of the starches that kind of brushed off of the rice as it was bumping against itself in transit. And this means that the rice will not get too sticky as it cooks. And I'm scraping all of this out because we're not going to put it in the pot right away with the stock, which is one somewhat unusual thing about this technique that I think is really interesting.
Do you do that for any particular reason, to get the liquid simmering and then add the rice?
I think it's to just make sure that it's the flavors are ready and then it's all there. And so that's why, I throw everything goes heavy on the stock and those, and then you put the rice in, then you let the rice absorb as much as possible. It's about making that rice ready to just be a sponge for the flavor.
If you like the sound of that and you want more recipes from geniuses like Michael, be sure to hit like and subscribe. If you also just like watching me wrestle with giant objects in the kitchen.
Sounds like a paid site.
But it's free. All you have to do is hit like and subscribe, and you will get all of the videos, and you'll be supporting everything that Food 52 is doing, and you won't miss a single recipe from geniuses like Michael. We are starting this in a very flavorful solution of chicken stock or any stock you want. A lot of that Meyer lemon juice that we just squeezed. And by the way, I'm doubling this recipe if everything looks a little more than what you see in the recipe on Food 52. You just want to have a lot of it for leftovers. And some thyme and some salt. Oh, Michael calls for lemon thyme or lemon basil. I believe that I just have regular thyme because I couldn't find either of those, but there's a lot of other lemon flavor to carry this through. If you can find them, definitely get them. Stir. And lid on. So that just needs to simmer for 20 to 25 minutes on low until all of the liquid is absorbed, and then we'll put in more things that will make it even more delicious. But now is a good time to make that other very genius topping.
I saw some candied garlic one day and I said, oh, garlic, sugar, two of my favorite things. Let's do this. I love elements of sweetness. And I know that one of the complaints about some of the traditional cooking, especially when it comes to Southern Black folks, is like, why does the sugar got to be in there? So instead of me saying, let's add a tablespoon of sugar to offset that lemon, which is very typical, I just was like, well, let me add an element of sweetness that it kind of hides behind the garlic. So the little bits of garlic, you kind of fish them out of their like syrup and you put them into it as opposed to clump. You're supposed to dot the rice with the bits of garlic. So you have these little tiny bits of sweetness.
Ooh. Okay, I think it's great that these are smashed for so many reasons. It makes them really easy to peel. It makes them cook through faster. It gives them lots of crevices to crisp up in the pan. And there was one more. Oh, it releases a lot of their garlic flavor. I had so many reasons. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is make this poaching liquid for the garlic to cook in before it crisps up. So just need a little bit more stock, in this case chicken, but it could be vegetable or fish. A little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar. And then just need to stir to dissolve the sugar and salt. This is one of those things that when I first saw it in Michael's book, I thought, candied garlic, I want that. Wait, do I want that? I think I want that. And it is so much better than I ever thought it would be. It is like roasted garlic in that it is soft, a little sweet. It's this mellowed garlic flavor, but it also gets extra sweetness from the sugar. It browns, which always brings lots of flavor through the Maillard reaction, and it crisps up and gives it this amazing texture where it gets kind of like sticky and crispy and browned and then soft in the middle. So now let's go cook it on the stove for about 20 minutes or until the garlic is soft and ready to go get crispy. Medium heat. Garlic's gonna go in and that'll just kind of simmer there, and I'll check it, make sure it's getting soft, and pull it out, and we'll fry it in some olive oil. Ooh, okay, this is looking good. Here, I'm just gonna double check to make sure all of the liquid's been absorbed. I like to do that by just precariously seeing if any pools down there. It's looking good. Adding my lemon zest. And stirring that in. Oh, yes. Lots of nice fluffy grains. I'm gonna be gentle so I don't break them up too much. Oops, come back here. And then we're gonna take it off the heat and let it sit for 10 more minutes to finish steaming and kind of like firming up that structure. And then we're gonna stir in just a couple more very delicious things. So one of those delicious things is butter. And the other one is parsley, which I like to just kind of gather up in a tight little wad and then chop like that. All right, that all looks nice and soft. I'm gonna turn that off and we can start crisping it up. It all comes together here.
The moment you've been waiting for.
I'm just gonna go for it. It's not sizzling yet, but that's okay. I'd rather be on that end than on the we have a spattery popping situation end of things. This will catch up soon enough. I'm just gonna leave it alone, but I'm not going to walk away. I'll tell you from experience, this does burn quickly because of the sugars that are in there. That is my timer. Oh, that's my timer to put the parsley and butter in. While I have you, Mike.
Perfect.
All right. Butter. Parsley. I'll stir those in just enough to let the butter start melting, and then I'll give it more of a stir in a minute. Okay. I'm seeing some browning action. Ooh, yeah. I'm going to just try to flip it over so we get browning on both sides. Oh yeah, it's getting so sticky. Okay, I think some of these are ready. There you. Oh yes. Oh, and we need a little bit of pepper as well. That's the last thing. Such a good cooking method. The rice does totally look like it's still in distinct grains, not too soft and squishy. Then we get this delicious stuff. The candied garlic.
You about that garlic.
I know, the garlic.
Do you think?
It just makes this amazing texture. It's like, it's so soft and squishy, but then the outside has this kind of delicious crackly shell. It's sort of hard to describe. I really hope that you'll try it.
I really hope people will pair this right. I think the chickpeas would be interesting. I think that's really, because then you get that hummus element without the hummus, right?
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah.
This is like the most deconstructed of hummuses.
Yeah, the most deconstructive hummuses,
And reconstructed.
And reconstructed, yes.
It's kind of hard to think of what it wouldn't go well with, honestly. It's just so flavorful and so fragrant. And it is a way of cooking rice that means that whatever you're serving it with doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. It's bringing a lot of its own flavor, but also still really respecting the rice for what it is too. To hear my full conversation with Michael, go check out the Genius Recipe Tapes episode from this week. It is anywhere you get your podcasts. And be sure to get Michael's new book. You will learn so much and you will get so many great recipes for rice. And let me know how you like to cook your rice. Have you seen this method before? Do you have another method that you swear by? I want to hear about it. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much, and we will see you in 2 weeks.